This is a tale for my sons and daughter, a tale of one man's journey. Many take this journey, some piqued by internal curiosity, others inspired by an outside force. While a surprising number are unmotivated to attempt this journey out of fear, ignorance, maybe they don't want to out of plain old laziness. You'll fall off the edge of the earth if you sail too far, or lands beyond the wall are hideous and forbidden, are accepted as truth, taught by elders, impressed upon children, and bound about our necks as chains of terrible weight, burdening our every thought and action. Surely they must have insight to the best way to live. We soothe our questioning selves. Their age, experience, and position in life uphold them as bearers of truth. Right? While this may hold true for many idioms, such as don't put your hand in the fire, it will burn, it's best to fill your gas tank when 3/4 empty, be nice as kindness is the best choice, there actually are many issues open to debate and alternative views, not bound by the absolute certainty of a few. However, just as some have instructed us not to go beyond the wall, don't travel beyond the wasteland, destruction await those who skip over the horizon, there remains the indisputable fact that many have done just that, and not just survived, but have lived and thrived. Like a pastry case filled with multiple delicious choices, each no worse than the other, each with its own distinctive taste and texture, there were other truths to be discovered, multiple options for decision-making, alternative views and practices, each leading to a good and fulfilling life. I was raised to believe quite the opposite, that there was only one point of view, one superior way of thinking, one truth, with damnation and destruction if I chose another path. I was taught I was sinful. I was void without the right belief, my eternal soul at stake for considering a wrong way of living. As a result, my early years were fearful, misguided thoughts, actions resulting in punishment at the hands of those who live by the principle that all our righteousness are as filthy rags. Humiliation was the aftermath of an ever-present tsunami of chastisement for thinking wrong, talking wrong, and doing wrong. My first 3 decades of life were troublesome, a constant struggle with personal relationships, conflict within and out, a secretive withholding of my true nature. I was surviving on the outside, a model of success and popularity, but the acidity of continuous internal damnation was slowly devouring, destroying my spirit and soul. As a 3-year-old asked, why, with the persistence of a stuck door, I slowly, through time and exasperation, began to ask questions, examining my feelings and motivations, challenging what was happening in my life, welcoming, embracing what produced positive outcomes, setting aside influences causing guilt and self-contempt. To my surprise, the more I set aside a blind belief imposed on my childhood years, like the athlete attuned to the count of his heartbeat and breaths, the more I relaxed, felt more and more comfortable in my own skin, stopping the monotonous hammer of self-drubbing. The fear of hellfire banishment, the threat of uncontrolled debauchery or rampant selfish preeminence I was told would negate any efforts I made to be a decent human being without my right belief, I discovered, vanished. I actually became more compassionate, more caring, and more giving without the curse of obligation or earning the approval of earthbound mortals and cosmic superiors. My growing disbelief in things I was told were true, but not upheld by historical fact, resulted in an openness and love I had not experienced under the harsh command of, "You better believe or else." I have documented in previous essays the effects of this extreme, severe belief system and the resulting confusion, pain, and guilt it produced. The purpose of this writing is to bear witness to the human condition, mine and those in whom these simple words resonate. A well-known reporter was asked, "Why do you put yourself in danger to report on conditions of war and famine that will never change?" His answer, "To bear witness. No one should die alone." My purpose is to bear witness to the effects of extremism, which, while well-intentioned, left scarring results, left skeletons on the beach after the tide withdrew. Extremism is being so focused and obsessed by singular thought or ideology that it overrides all other emotions and reason. It's compelled to direct all energy in one direction, so it becomes misshapen, pushing the person to have to always be right. It becomes nothing short of self-obsessed pride, without any self-examination. It's all the effort of climbing a ladder, leaning on the wrong wall. They refuse, cannot emotionally bear to ever admit the facts for what they are or what the facts may be. I have found they can never say, "I'm sorry, I may have been wrong." Leaving zero room for personal growth, maturity, or reinvention from new information, they are fully confident and strangely assured in what could turn out to be 100% wrong. But you'll never hear it from them. To say everything changed one afternoon would be oversimplification, yet it seemed to happen that way for me. The previous years and decades had been spent pushing these issues aside, hedging my bets on what really was true by acknowledging past accepted beliefs without actively pursuing their daily practice. As if rooting for a team without a winning record, I still tipped my hat to their existence, hoping for the best. On a cold December afternoon, a single question changed everything. I was sitting on my couch watching a documentary about Christmas when a question popped out of the cosmos and into my mind. When were the Gospels written? A simple question, but since the Gospels, meaning Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, were the source of my historic and theological doctrine on what to believe for eternal salvation, I wondered, well, when were these Gospels written? They were written as if an eyewitness account. Everything I read, it said someone saw what happened and wrote it down, and we believe it to be true. I got up from the couch, accessed the internet, and simply typed, "When were the Gospels written?" The answer, according to all scholarly sources, they were written some 40, 60, 90 years after the event supposedly occurred. Well, now that begs the question. If the dating of the Gospel writings is accurate, then how reliable could they be as first-person eyewitness accounts? How good would my memory be as to what really was said and done if I wrote down the facts 60 years later? I have to tell you, I have a hard time remembering what I had for breakfast yesterday. I don't remember what my parents or pastors or teachers taught me weeks or months later. How could I possibly remember with any accuracy what happened 6 decades ago? Now I was churning page after page, searching about dates and languages and authors and historical facts about these documents, balancing decades of belief with what factually happened. I know what I was taught. But those lessons migrated south, fleeing in haste from the cold northerly winds of history. Question piled on question, as my theological house of cards dismantled one after the other. I picked up each card of conviction, examined it for truth and historical accuracy, and upon thoughtful research and reflection, laid it back down. Much of what I had been taught was not historically true. And why didn't anyone teach me these questions even existed? Aren't they important questions to be reconciled if I am to believe in anything with trust and knowledge? I was taught, don't ask questions. Don't have wrong beliefs. What you are told is true because God says so. All to say that my journey has traversed from a vacuum of obedience to blind faith through decades of cold hibernation to eye-opening fact-finding that is free from conjecture and assumption. My objection now is to continue the ongoing process of simplifying life to its purest form, without thrust upon purpose or false meaning. My purpose for sharing this journey with my children, with you, is to convey knowledge, teach critical skills to evaluate evidence, and develop ideas that create the path preceding their steps. Life is good. Life is purposeful. Life is a journey. My encouragement to all: stroll down a path less worn. Think for yourself. Follow the facts wherever they lead. Your personal journey awaits.